Hello, my name is Troy Kilpatrick, and I'm the Executive Director here at the Journey Museum and Learning Center. I want to thank you for joining us in this very special educational program that we're putting together here for all of you to view here online and when you want to watch it. It's important here at the Journey Museum and Learning Center, it's important for us to recognize all of the cultures in our community, and we're really grateful to be able to share educational voice with the Black Hills Powwow. I want to thank Do Bad Warrior for getting us connected, and we're going to have Miss Black Hills Powwow, Lauren McNabb, talk in greater depth about why is the powwow important, why is it important to understand our cultural history. But one of the things I wanted to briefly touch on is the idea that South Dakota is the first state to actually have a Native American Day. And so this only been 31 years in the making, but it's time for, we believe it's time for all of us to learn more about our cultures and our history and how it all connects together. And at the Journey, it is all about connections, and it's all about lifelong learning with all of our programs. We host learning forums and have educational programs in the museum for really all ages, from toddler times to discovery expeditions to learning forums. Check us out at journeymuseum.org. My pleasure to introduce Lauren McNabb, who is Miss Black Hills Powwow. As a matter of fact, Lauren became Miss Black Hills Powwow in 2019, and in these unprecedented times, she's continuing to serve as Miss Black Hills Powwow. And we can't thank Lauren and her mentor, Do Bad Warrior, enough for partnering with us here at the Journey Museum and Learning Center in helping provide a better understanding of Lakota culture and history here for all of us to learn. So a bit about Lauren. Lauren is actually from Saskatchewan, Canada, and she is attending Mount Royal University in Calgary, Alberta. She is currently pursuing a degree with a major in education and a minor in Indigenous studies. Lauren's ultimate career goal is to help integrate Indigenous culture and knowledge systems into the standardized Western curriculums, and to help educate students become more fluent with Indigenous people and their history. She is taking her own time to learn and become more fluent in understanding of her Dakota language and culture, and is eager to learn more to help set an example for people everywhere that it's never too late to learn more about your cultural identity. So thank you for joining us today, and thanks Lauren for being a part of being a cultural leader here for us today as we learn more here at the Journey Museum and Learning Center on Native American Day, Community Day. Miss Lauren McNabb.
Hamatakiapi, Chantewashte na pekichi japi, the Hota Chaze Pehandu the Maniwi Hemie, Nawashiju Chaze Lauren McNabb Makiapi. Hello, my friends and relatives. I greet you all with a heartfelt handshake. My Dakota name is Red Crane Walking Woman, and my English name is Lauren McNabb, and I am the current Miss Hesapawi representing the Black Hills Powwow and Celebration. I'm so excited to partner with the Journey Museum to talk to you about the significance of the Black Hills and what they mean to me. Thank you all for taking the time to listen, and please enjoy. The Black Hills are considered sacred to the people of the Ocheti Shakonwi. They're the center of our universe, and they're the birthplace for culture. Recognized and named for the dark forest that shoots onto the surrounding prairies, the Black Hills remain a significant and special place in many of our stories and our teachings. The Black Hills are so significant to me because of how hard the Lakota people fought to keep them untouched, both in the past and now. In 1877, the U.S. government would defeat the Lakota and would force them onto reservations and create a new treaty that would give the government entitlement to the Black Hills. This treaty would also legalize the gold mining that was already happening in the Black Hills. Over a century later, in 1979, the U.S. Supreme Court would deem the acts of 1877 as illegal and would award the Lakota people over $100 million in reparations. The amount has grown since that time, and the Lakota people have refused it, stating that their land was never for sale in the first place. Did you know that the first Native American Day was held in South Dakota? Back in 1990, South Dakota was the first of 13 states to rename the day celebrating Columbus to Native American Day. I'm so proud of the home state for the Black Hills for renaming the day and taking that step, taking that initiative to mend the relationship with its Indigenous peoples. And although it's a small step, it has great significance to me. Long ago, when our world was new, our buffalo relatives carried a great power that extended over all of creation. It is said that the buffalo used to eat people, and the people's hair would hang from their mouths. That is why the buffaloes we see today have long hair on their chins. It's a reminder of those times. But I'm here to talk to you about the story of what comes after that. This is the story of the Great Race. The people were suffering. They didn't want to be eaten anymore. So they prayed to Tungashana, or Creator, to look on them and have pity. Tungashana heard their prayers and called on Crow to gather all of creation to meet in the Black Hills. Tungashana came down and said, "Is it right that the buffalo should eat the people, or should the people eat the buffalo? We will have a race to decide." The race would be ran around the Black Hills by all of creation, representing two teams, the people versus the buffalo. All of the animals chose to side with the buffalo because they all had 4 legs, but the birds chose to represent the people because just like us, they had 2 legs. The buffalo chose a young cow. She was fast and strong and was their undefeated racer, while the people chose a young man who carried the same qualities. It was a fair matchup. The racers gathered to the start, and with a loud howl, Coyote and Wolf signaled the start of the race. The birds shot ahead, taking the lead and leaving the other racers behind. Although she was the slowest of the birds, Magpie decided she was going to win the race and made a plan. She quietly swooped down and landed on Buffalo's back, where she patiently waited. The day was hot as the race continued. The birds still held a great lead until they came to a river. They drank and made themselves lazy before they fell asleep in a tree. The other racers came to the river and quietly swam by, stealing the lead. Nobody knows how long they were racing around the hills, and many of the racers had dropped out, but Buffalo and Young Man were still neck and neck, running hard to the finish. Nobody had noticed Magpie still nestled in the thick fur of Buffalo's back. Young Man began to fall behind, giving Buffalo the confidence she needed to push herself to the finish line. She used all her power, thundering down the racetrack, thinking that she was about to win the race. Magpie knew if she wanted to win, she would have to make her move soon, and luckily for her, she still had all of her energy. With a loud caw, Magpie flew high into the sky towards the sun before swooping down to cross the finish line just before Buffalo. The birds and the people cheered for Magpie. She had won the great race. The chief of the Buffalo Nation came to the people and said, "That was a fair race. You will now hold the power over us, and you will eat us." Tungashana came down and said, "Use your power wisely and take care of all of my creations because they are all your relatives. Make yourselves worthy of them and give thanks always." The people were forever grateful to the birds for taking their side in the great race. We honor them in this relationship by wearing their feathers. Many of the racers ran so hard their feet began to bleed, staining the earth red where they touched. And to this day, you can still see the legendary red racetrack surrounding the Black Hills. In the night sky, when you look up, you can still see the clouds of dust raised up by the runners. Scientists call this the Milky Way, but we know what it truly is. The Great Race was the start of many things. That's just one of my favorite stories that originates from the Black Hills. And I'm lucky enough to carry part of that story on my crown. You can see the red racetrack here surrounding the hills themselves, the Buffalo Nation, as well as the people. And I'm so lucky I get to carry such a beautiful crown that symbolizes some of my favorite things. I think that's a great segue to talk to you about powwows and tell you why they're so special to me and why you should go out and experience them for yourselves. My first time to the Black Hills was back in 2017. I was traveling with my siblings to the Hesapo at Chipi. The magnetic atmosphere of the powwow is what keeps me coming back every year, and seeing the Lakota people speak their language so confidently with one another greatly inspired me to go and learn my own Dakota language. And I'm so thankful for being able to witness that and feel that power and sense of community, because it pushed me to realize what I wanted for myself and to go and learn my language. To me, the Black Hills are a symbol of resiliency, a testament of strength, and a special place to be connected with our ancestors. How beautiful is it that we can exist and pray in the same space as them all those years ago? Powwows are a celebration of life, a time to gather together and practice traditions. I'm so thankful for Wachipi, or Powwows, because of the opportunities they've brought me. I've been able to meet new people and create long-lasting relationships, as well as travel all across Turtle Island. I'm proud to be able to share a little bit with you today about our Wachipi na Oshkate. All different tribes come together to sing and dance at various powwows that are usually held on the weekends. The categories you will see every weekend are the men's traditional, the men's fancy, the men's grass, and the men's chicken. And as for the women, you will see the women's jingle, the women's fancy, and the women's traditional. There are different variations of each dance within that category. Sometimes a different dance will originate from a different part of North America. And it's so beautiful to see the variety you get when you watch each category. To me, the men tell stories with the way they dance, and each story is personal to the dancer. The same goes for the women, and it's beautiful seeing the women carry themselves gracefully as they dance. I don't want to spoil too much because I'd like you all to experience this beautiful sight for yourselves. And I look forward to that time when we can all be together again. I hope to see you all at the 2022 Hesapo Wachipi na Oshkate here in Rapid City, and I thank you all for listening. Hanana epekte, wuparetanka echitiapi, mitakuye oyasi.
And now I would like to introduce to you Miss Tally Monteau. She was an educator here at the Journey Museum and Learning Center, and she's going to give you some more insights on the camps around the Horn. So Miss Tally Monteau.
Camps Around the Horn is the traditional setting on how each band from the Oceti Shakoi place their campsites around the fire at intertribal gatherings. What does Oceti Shakoi mean? The term Oceti Shakoi, translated as the Seven Council Fires, refers to the 7 major divisions of the Great Sioux Nation. Great Plains Native Americans were deemed Sioux by French trappers who abbreviated an Ojibwe term. The Ojibwe were not considered allies of the Oceti Shakoi, so the term Sioux loosely translates to enemy or little snakes. To properly acknowledge and understand today's Oceti Shakoi people, you must first understand the true definition of their culture. Oceti Shakoi, or the 7 Council Fires, properly refers to the entire Great Plains tribal system. Within the Oceti Shakoi, there are 3 tribal divisions, the Lakota, Dakota, and Nakota. Each division is made up of bands who all speak different yet distinct dialects. Historically, there were 7 major Oyate, or people, or council fires, of the Dakota, Lakota, and Nakota. Each of these council fires were made up of individual bands based on kinship, dialect, and geographic proximity. Sharing a common fire is one thing that has always united the Oceti Shakoi Oyate. Keeping of the Preta Wakan, or the sacred fire, was an important activity. On any type of movement, coals from the previous council fire were carefully preserved and used to rekindle the council fire at the new campsite. Comprised of the Oceti Shakoi Oyate, or the 7 council fires people, are the Dakota, which are the Made Wakantwa, Wakpe Kute, Wakpe Troan, Sisi Troan. The Nakota were the Ihanktawan and the Ihanktawana. The Lakota were the Tituan. Within the Tituan, they were organized as 7 bands, which were the Hunkpapa, the Itazipcho, the Minikwoju, the Oglala, the Ohenupa, the Sichangu, and the Sihasapa. Each of the 3 divisions have always been distinguishable because of their individual dialects, lifestyles, and means of sustaining themselves. Additionally, all members of the Oceti Shakoi Oyate hunted from northern Canada south to the Republican River in Kansas, east from the Mississippi River to the Bighorn Mountains in the west. Living in separate bands made up of extended families or tioshpayes, the 7 council fires people came together at least once a year, usually midsummer during the season of the Sundance ceremony. During this time, vows were made and fulfilled. This was also a time for celebrating each other's victories, socializing, horse racing, and contests. While the adults discussed and planned issues of intertribal interests, the youth courted and enjoyed each other's company. We lived under the misconception that Columbus discovered America. What he did was stumble on a land already occupied by many people and many nations. In the center of that land were a people who called themselves the Oceti Sakowin Oyate.